for Christina Hollerbach. How are you?
I'm awake.
You are awake and alive, and that's good. I like that.
One, step two.
So, there's so much I want to talk about because we talked about some of this off air and talked about some of it on air. When Mike was here, he was being very diplomatic. I'm going to ask you what I asked him. What is the most ridiculous thing that you've had to deal with when it comes to permitting?
When it comes to permitting,
yes.
Well, I'll start a little bit with diplomacy, that I do believe that we should have permits and rules and Schedule S and historic preservation. Those are vital to the way we love our town and our sense of place and our sense of community. So I'm not saying get away with all rules.
Sure.
They are important and they're there for a reason.
You're not an anarchist like me.
Yeah. So I'll start with that. But there's definitely ways that we can make the process more approachable, understandable, because even just things about like the way stuff is named, like, okay, so I need to change the logo on my window. What permit should I get? Did you think of certificate of appropriateness? Like, of course you did. Yeah, the certificate of appropriateness, the COA. You know, so it's just like, can we just name things that make sense to people? Can we make these more approachable? But I would say it depends on how ridiculous you want to be. Yeah. I would say some of my most ridiculous things revolve around the grease traps. And
it is the grease traps. It's not just me. Okay, so the grease traps are a thing.
So for those who are not in the industry, grease traps are required as a trap system to collect grease so that it doesn't go back into sewage and plumbing and clog up pipes. And again, necessary and vital.
Yeah.
But how that department is isolated from the rest, you know, like we're getting all these permits, we're getting this stuff done, but like good luck finding online or on the website or anywhere what we actually need to do what we need to do. So in most cases, people want to be compliant. They want to do the right things, but they don't know how, they don't know where, and it is a significant cost. But to me, the most ridiculous one is said, hey, we know we needed it. We consulted them. We got one recommended by them that was going to supposedly fit all of our needs.
Yeah.
We got all the paperwork. We did all the stuff. They have to inspect during the installation and after. Then I get charged to test the water afterwards, and then I got fined for it not working. And so
the thing that they recommended.
That was, to me, some of the most ridiculous. But on top of that, their suggestions for fixing it were not pouring soda down the drains and pouring the soda in double-bag trash cans. We also have sauerkraut and red cabbage. So the suggestion was to drain the juice and double-bag it and throw it in the garbage. So it's just like there's I'm begging to try and be compliant and fix this issue, but it's so unrealistic the effort we put in to making sure the city's infrastructure is safe. Why meanwhile I have had outdated infrastructure for 4 years that backs up into my building. So I'm putting in everything I need to do. What are they doing in return to help keep the system functional? Yeah,
and this actually, I mean, it's something that I said earlier in the show that it seems like it's countrywide. It's U.S.-wide, where people are the governments, municipalities aren't spending the money on the infrastructure necessary, but they just want to grow.
Well, and also it's the speed of government. Even if they know something's coming, it's like, okay, well, cool. 4 years from now, we will have now passed all the things we need to do and allocated this thing to do this stuff. So it's just the speed at which government functions never aligns with the growth of communities, especially now with social media and everything else. Things happen so much faster. I mean, think about how many people have been moving to the state of Florida over the last 2 years. Yeah. We can't account for that growth. So even, private sector businesses struggle to keep up with it, let alone government.
Yeah.
So I understand why there is a struggle, but there has to be more emphasis on how we communicate with both businesses and residents on the way the permits work.
So if you had the power to just change everything overnight, what would be one of the first things that you would do?
So changing anything overnight never works either. You gotta have this system. But I have been advocating for a very long time. In most cases, resident or business, your first interaction with City of Sanford and City Hall is opening your utilities, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, I bought a thing, I need water.
Yeah.
That's where you go.
Yep.
Why do we not receive packets when we open up utility accounts that tell you about your city. Hey, you're a commercial business opening a business in downtown. Are you aware of Schedule S? Did you know we have pre-con meetings with our building department? Like, I want us to be proactive of how we communicate with potential residents and business owners. Because when the first interaction someone has with city government is a stop work order sticker on their wall instead of, hey, did you know, and look at all these resources available to you. That's a big problem for me.
I think that communication is key here. I think that naming things that make sense. Like, what did you call that thing about the sign?
Certificate of appropriateness.
Because I want to know if it's a certificate that means this is appropriate.
I just think that certificate of appropriateness sounds like something that I would need if I need to open up a strip club here.
Which is still not allowed. No tattoo parlors, piercing parlors.
Still no tattoo parlors?
No cat cafes, no pinball machines. These are all businesses that wanted to come to our area that were denied based on our current planning and zoning.
Yeah, my tattoo shop wanted to. Imperial Class Tattoo originally wanted to open here.
But let's keep opening churches that don't pay property taxes. That'll be great.
Don't even get me started on that. If you look at any of the shorts that I've created, I've given some flack to the city for some of the stuff that they've done, but I've also given them props because progress is progress. Even if it's small, even if it looks clunky, even if it's not the way that I would have done it, it's like you said, it's not overnight. So I'm trying to be patient, but I'm also, like I told Mike.
But here's my conundrum, right?
What?
So I love giving credit when it's due. I like rewarding when they're doing something good. I like holding them accountable when they're not.
Yep.
But I hate the person I have to be in order to get progress in our city.
Oh, my God.
Because I don't want to air dirty laundry. I don't want Sanford to look bad. But when they prove to me that the only way they take action is if we make a public stink about it, then that's what we have to do.
Yep.
So, yes, I'm proud of some of the things the city is just now starting to do. But that's after years of us begging and nagging and poking and prodding to get them to do what I consider bare minimums.
Yep.
So, like, yes, I'm happy, but, like, how much time did residents and business owners have to take out of their day to show up to meetings, to hold them accountable and go, hey, did you know that maybe you should have a map? Did you know maybe you should have the website right? Do you know that maybe you should follow your own style guides? Do you know maybe you should have this permit process? Do you know maybe you should have that business advisory board again? Do you know maybe you should have that open for business account again? Like, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, agreed. And let me ask you this, though. Whose neck do we wring for this?
To me, it's a collective. It's why I've been so vocal about the city manager position. Because to me, leadership is key. If they set the tone, they set the culture, and everybody is like, hey, I'm not allowed to look into this project or look into this thing until I get approval from up above. If that up above is never given them that direction, then that's the problem.
Yeah.
If they are only going to address things because we make a public stink about it and the commission finally begs the city manager to do something about it, then we have to deal with the speed of government on top of that. So we have to beg for years to get it done, to call attention to it, for them to just start taking action, and then we get to watch the molasses flow. So it is leadership. If there was somebody in that role that had more energy, that was listening to the people, that was listening to the commission, that had more follow through, we would be in a different place.
Okay. So your plea now is basically to have locals, because that's really the only way to do this, locals speak up, because that is the only way that the city is going to do things. And I've already seen them do things, and I'm not saying that they're doing things because I'm doing things here, but I've seen them change.
When people are being watched, they perform.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. And I want to close it out on that. Where can people find what do you want to plug? You have so many things that you want to that you do here.
Well, I would say if you're interested more about following government, to go to the city's Facebook. They have this new newsletter, but show up to meetings. You know, if you go to sanfordfl.gov, there's a meeting and agenda section. They're traditionally every other Monday at City Hall. Being present, seeing what happens in that room, showing people that you're paying attention, that's what makes a real big difference.
Yeah.
And also having relationships with your your commissioners. Send them an email. Ask them how they feel about certain things.
Yep.
They really are there for you. But if you're not telling them what's important, they don't know what to advocate for. So have relationships with your commissioners. That goes on the county level as well. No one shows up to those meetings either. So get involved and know what's going on. And I get it's also time consuming. And if you can't, still send those emails. Yeah. Hey, when something's important to you, just send it if you can't show up.
Yep. And they're streaming. Now they're able to do it online. Yep. Now you're able to actually see this online from your home. So be active, be proactive about your city, because that is going to be the only way.
And then one good thing that the city's done recently, and unfortunately it came primarily from our CRA, which is sunsetting as an organization in 2026, which is more county and state government issues. Yeah. But they are funding the Sanford Summer Sizzle program with Main Street. So we're going to have so many cool things coming out for this summer.
That's the River Rats thing.
The opening day for River Rats will be at Mellonville next Thursday.
Nice.
But go visit our information center. Learn about Main Street. You can buy Sanford seeds, and you're paying 50 cents on the dollar, and you can spend them all over town at participating locations that are on their website.
That's awesome.
So it's a really great way to give back to the community, where us as the business owners are still doing well, but it's being supplemented by the CRA. So there are good things going on, and summer is really rough for small business owners.
Really
so make
is.
sure you take care of your small business owner friends during the summer and try and spread out the love as much as you can.
Absolutely. Christina, thank you so much for being on it.
Always.
Next time? Are you going to be on it for next time?
Always.
Yeah. I have a regular government whisperer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for episode 2 of the Sanford Sitdown. A huge thanks to all of our guests, Mike, Joe, Christina. Yes, thank you to the Celery Gallery for hanging out with us, whether you knew it or not. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. What's that? No? What happened? No? No. Okay. Oh, she'll wait. All right. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on the TikToks, on all of it. So until next time, my name's DJ Zwane. This is the Sanford Sitdown. Peace out.
The Sanford Sitdown.